While the Dreamcast had a whole bunch of classics, it unfortunately couldn't save Sega's future in the console market, as the Dreamcast became the final console Sega would develop, and they soon went third party. So with no real home, Sega games were coming to Sony's PlayStation 2, Nintendo's GameCube, and the new face of the market, Microsoft's Xbox. In 2002, Sega left their mark on the system with Jet Set Radio Future. Released on February 22nd, 2002 in Japan, February 25th in North America, and March 14th in PAL regions, Jet Set Radio Future is a more than worthy successor to the 2000 Dreamcast classic. But how so? Let's dive in. Just like the first game, the game takes place in Tokyo as we take control of the GGs, once again run by Korn, Gum, and Yo-Yo? Yeah, pretty weird that the face of the series isn't a main member of the GGs until after the first level, but nonetheless. A new gang has gone around, kidnapped this goddess of the street statue, and started marking the GG's territory, so of course, the GG's head to Dogonzaka Hill, spray their graffiti, and race against the one mark in their spots who turns out to be Beat. After beating Beat, the Rokkaku police invade, who instead of being run by Onishima, is ran by the psychotic dork known as Hayashi. Out to Shibuya Terminal, we find out that the one causing the mayhem is none other than Poison Jam. After covering their additional territories of Chuo Street and Rokkaku Heights, they scuttle away into the sewers. After confronting the new gang of Rapid 99 for information, we enter the sewers and flick the switches to enter Poison Jam's lair and meet with the leader of the gang, Cube. After defeating them, the statues return to its proper place. However, after getting the statue, the noise tanks show up and Yo-Yo ends up going missing. The GGs claim the territory of the new gang, the Immortals, for info. After being led to Highway 0, Yo-Yo, who was caged, flips it to trap us instead, supposedly going rogue. The noise tanks take us to the future Rokkaku Expo Stadium to play Deathball with new character Jazz against the Doom Riders, the Immortals, and the Love Shockers. After winning the races, the police invade and are swiftly dealt with by the GGs. The noise tanks, irate, rampage all over the city, and after dealing with them, get confronted at Sky Dinosaurian Square, where it's revealed that the traitor's Yo-Yo was in fact a noise tank, and the noise tanks are quickly knocked out before getting destroyed by the Rokkaku group. After dealing with the noise tanks, a guy named Clutch comes in and says that he has information on Yo-Yo if we give him graffiti souls. Instead though, he takes off with them. After chasing him down, he reveals that Yo-Yo is at the fortified residential zone, where we quickly rescue him while dealing with time bombs. Yo-Yo reveals that he went digging into the mafia of the Rokkaku group called the Golden Rhinos, and was kidnapped for digging too deep. The Golden Rhinos are now destroying the streets, and a Beat lookalike is running loose, so the GG set out to take care of it. After dealing with the Golden Rhinos, DJ Professor K gets kidnapped by Goji Rokkaku, the leader of the Rokkaku group and the mayor of Tokyo. Goji blasts creepy music from his tower while giving a typical bad guy speech, and after dealing with the Zero Beats, we get pulled into the tower to deal with Goji once and for all. After beating him, the game ends with DJ Professor K talking about how people get easily corrupted by greed. So, unlike Jet Set Radio Future is open-ended rather than level-based. Areas are interconnected with others. For example, your garage connects outward to Dogonzaka Hill, Shibuya Terminal, Rokkaku Heights, and 99th Street, and each of those areas branch off into others, giving it a nice little map feature as well, which lets you see which areas connect to where. In terms of control, Future feels absolutely fantastic. The control isn't as stiff as the original, and the speed of the game is upped quite a lot. You dash automatically, tilting the analog stick all the way rather than having a separate dash button, and doing the turn trick is now a press of the Y button rather than flicking the stick down to up. On top of that, you can now press the X and Y buttons in a rhythm while on a rail to build up a point chain and keep speed going, and also press X and Y in a rhythm during air tricks to not only build points but prevent taking fall damage. So while we can grind on the usual stair sets and guardrails, now we can go a full 90 degrees up stuff like telephone poles to keep momentum going, and it makes Future feel incredibly snappy and fast paced. Even spraying graffiti is faster than the original. In the original Jet Set Radio, spraying medium or large graffiti required doing certain motions with the analog stick to complete the spray to build a higher score. Now, no matter the spray size, all it takes is holding the right trigger and walking, grinding, jumping, or wall riding by the spot to spray it, and it keeps the pace constantly moving. No more stop and go, which is something I later came to dislike about the original. In terms of familiar characters, they all return with brand new redesigns. Beat, Gum, Korn, Yo-Yo, Boogie, who was Piran in the original, Rith, who was Mew in the original, Combo, Cube, Garam, and Soda, who was Slate in the original, and the unlockable character of Potts all make a return. Even the gangs from the original return with brand new redesigns, with those being Poison Jam, the Love Shockers, and the Noise Tanks. Even then, we got a few new faces as well. We get Jazz and Clutch in terms of individual standalone characters, and 3 new gangs in the Doom Riders, Rapid 99, and the Immortals. There's a lot of designs I vibe with, except for Rith and Combo. Rith, for some reason, wearing a bra outside of her fit, and Combo, I don't know why they went with blue hair. I think gray hair could have been a lot better. Anyway, since stages are story-based rather than level to level, why are there points? Well, that's where the mystery tapes come in. Located in each level is a mystery tape, and collecting it unlocks what are known as street challenges. Each level has 5 challenges, which have a grind combo, air combo, total combo, point challenge, and level specific challenge, with the exception of the sewer levels, which just have a second point challenge. Grind combo is done by just hitting the X or Y button a certain number of times on a single rail without breaking the timing, falling, moving too slow, or jumping to another rail. Air combo is simply pressing the X or Y button in a rhythm, doing the required number of tricks before hitting the floor. Total combo is self-explanatory, total number of tricks without touching the floor. The point challenges and the level specific ones are the most interesting. Most rails have a base score of 10, and the multiplier for tricks rises from 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16, which is only for reverse tricks. However, with score requirements of say 300,000 in Hikage Street, that's not going to get you a lot of score. While certain rails in the levels have a base score of 500 rather than 10, so getting your required score boils down to finding these rails in each level and using the X and Y grinds to get your required score. And lastly is the level specific challenges. These are unique challenges that usually require you tricking or doing a sequence of tricks on certain portions of the level, and while some are fun like the Gates grind on 99th Street or the wall riding on Chua Street, some challenges are seriously bugged. The most infamous being the station platforms of Shibuya Terminal, where you have to land on all 13 bus platforms without touching the floor, using grind rails to traverse to the other platforms. This one straight up does not work half the time, and you may have to make multiple loop arounds to even get it to work. Completing a street challenge spawns a graffiti soul, which function exactly as they did in the original. Unlocking new designs to spray, and collecting all the souls in the level, and beating the game unlocks test run for that level, which allows you to unlock additional characters. For an early Xbox game, Jet Set Radio Future looks great. The cell shading is great as always, and the environments are very stylized. The soundtrack is once again fantastic, with returning composer Hideki Naganuma fronting the project. We get returns of Diablo Soul, Richard Jocks, and Guitar Vader. And in terms of licensed tracks, we get a lot of compositions of remixes by the Latch Brothers, Russell Simmons, Scapegoat Wax, and the Prunes. However, one song in the game is absolutely infamous, and that song being Kiba Mato's Birthday Cake. Good fucking lord, this song is absolutely mind-numbing. I'm not kidding that anytime this song came on rotation during my playthrough, I groaned and lowered my volume. I know this song has its fans, but let me tell you that I find this song not only ear-grating but annoying. It is, however, the only sour spot in the soundtrack though. The rest of it's fantastic. We get bangers like the title track, The Concept of Love, Fly Like a Butterfly, Like It Like This Like That, What About the Future, I'm Not a Model, and The Answer, just to name a few. So this soundtrack is absolutely jamming tunes. I still prefer the original soundtrack, but the Future soundtrack is still really good. Unfortunately, while Jet Set Radio Future was positively received, sales were terrible, and it's genuinely unfortunate that an amazing game such as this didn't get the attention it deserved until it was way too late. And while the original Jet Set Radio has been re-released on numerous platforms, Future is still locked to the original Xbox. And I know some are saying that it's backwards compatible with the 360, and while that's true, the frame rate in the 360 version dips terribly in some levels, and the game isn't even available to buy on Xbox One. This is a game that if it did get a port, it should be a full-on remake. Well, with that supposed Sega leak showing Jet Set Radio, maybe we'll hear something soon? Who knows? Until then, Jet Set Radio Future is still a fantastic game, and I highly recommend picking it up. Jet Set Radio still has a great community, and it's still a cult classic series. Its inspiration is still being felt with games like Hover and the soon-to-be-released Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which I will also cover those games in due time. But until then, I'm Payday. Thank you for watching, and take care.